Hey guys, Eamon here, and this is where I explore my creative philosophies through video. It's so good to see your faces again. Thank you for coming here to meet me, to hang out with me. In this video, I'm gonna do the ultimate 30-day challenge. So why am I doing this? Well, the thing is, I see so many of these videos on YouTube, and a lot of them, they just don't seem very hard, you know? A lot of them are like, I did cold showers for one day, and here's what happened, and it's like a 40-minute video. And I'm like, come on, that's pretty easy. So I decided, you know what, why don't I take a bunch of them, put them all together and do it for 30 whole days and see if I can do it or if it breaks me. And you get to come along. So I won't spend too long in the intro. I'm gonna jump in, tell you what I'm doing, why I chose those things, and then I can dive into my experiences as they progress. Let's get into it. So the first thing is 1 meal a day. Now I've tried this before, but not really consistently. And what I've realized is my ideal 1 meal a day is about 4 hours. Otherwise it drives me crazy or I just fall asleep after I eat all of my calories in the day. So that's the first one that I'm going to be doing for 30 days is basically 1 meal a day. My eating window will be about 4 hours and I'm gonna be a hungry boy pretty much. So there's heaps of benefits to this and you can do your own research on that, but I'm just gonna give it a crack just as a challenge pretty much. And so I can spend less time eating. So I can just eat all my calories in a short period of time and I don't have to spend all my time eating pretty much. So I think that one's going to be a little bit tough, but definitely not the hardest one. Just on that, I'm also going to be doing that plant-based. Now I am primarily plant-based already, so that's definitely not going to be very hard, but I will still document some of those experiences and if they affect the experience at all towards the end. So I'll let you know about that. So the second thing is 30 minutes of meditation per day, and included in that meditation will be a visualization and gratitude exercise. So 20 minutes of that one will actually be a guided meditation by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now I came across his meditations about 6 months ago and they've been working wonders for me, and they include a visualization and meditation and gratitude element of all of it. So it's kind of a really self-reflective kind of meditation, and that one's about 23 minutes long. So to supplement that, I'll be doing another 10-minute meditation at the start of the day to equal about 30 minutes, a little bit over 30 minutes. Now, I tried this challenge back in February, and part of the reason why I failed that challenge, and you won't see that video, is because I made that an hour meditation. And the way my lifestyle was, it literally just wasn't working for me. So I scrapped that idea, thought I'd revisit it. And here we are during a different time, might you say, and have a little bit more time to potentially give this a crack. So this is why I've shortened it down to 30 minutes, so it's a bit more manageable, and I actually have the time to kind of do it given my current lifestyle. So number 3 is alcohol. Now, I'm not a huge drinker myself, but I'm just gonna eliminate some of the occasional drinks I would have on the weekend and see if that has any major effect. Yeah, alcohol just really doesn't do it for me that much. But nonetheless, I'll document my experiences because again, a lot of people are doing it and they're only doing alcohol, and I'm like, come on, you can be doing way more than that. So that one's included. Number 4 is caffeine. Now this is probably going to be one of the hardest ones for me because I'm a daily coffee drinker and I sometimes have a few cups of coffee per day. So I've switched to green tea and gonna give that 30 days and we'll see if I survive that one. I'm not too sure how it's gonna go, especially because it's more of a social thing. It's so easy, a lot of people are like, oh, do you want a coffee? They just offer it to you and it's so easy to say yes. So that's gonna be the hardest one to have self-control over for sure, but nonetheless, you get to either watch me succeed or fail. So number 5 is low dopamine activities. Now, I see a lot of people doing dopamine fasts as such, and it's literally not attainable for 30 days for someone like myself who works in the digital space. I'm working with computers on a day-to-day basis. So when I say low dopamine activities, what I'm talking about is if I'm driving in the car or if I'm at the gym or before I go to sleep, basically, cutting out music. I'm gonna be mainly focusing on podcasts or audiobooks where possible. And less scrolling on Instagram, less scrolling on Reddit, and so this one is going to be a little bit less kind of manageable, a little bit less in place because I'll still be doing those activities because I'm going to be posting on this Instagram and that kind of thing. But I'm definitely going to make a conscious effort to lower my dopamine activities and see if that has an effect, especially stacking it with all these other things that I'm trying. So I think that one will be the hardest one because it's a little bit hard to measure. But the other thing is it's also very hard because pretty much everything that we do involves dopamine or involves something trying to get our attention. So we'll see how we go on that one. But that's probably the one that I'm least confident about, and least looking forward to, because I love music a lot. And I also probably spend way too much time on Reddit. So number 6 is journaling. Now, this is a habit that I've wanted to get into for a very long time, but never really found a way to do it. And something happened the other day, and my friend told me the way he actually got into journaling was by just leaving it on his desk, and whenever he sees the opportunity to pick it up and write a journal entry, that's when he'll do it. And so that was pretty much the thing that actually ticked it over and made it accessible for me. So I was like, I'll never be able to do that for 30 days straight. So I've done it maybe 5-10 times in the last 2 weeks, but now I've decided, you know what, let's give it a crack. Let's go for 30 days straight, see if I can do it and see if there's any significant benefits to that now that I've actually had a little bit of practice. So really excited about this one because so far I've already found it to be quite a useful self-development and self-awareness tool. So number 7 is gym and cardio every day. Now at the moment, I can't really go to the gym and that is killing my vibe very hard. But in the absence of that, I picked up a little bit more cardio. So I've been doing some biking, some running, a lot of skipping, and also, exercise resistance bands and some of the weights that I have at home. So the main thing is that I'll be actually consciously doing cardio every single day and, seeing if that has a benefit, seeing if I can maybe cut off a little bit of extra body fat and, maybe if that helps the whole state of mind thing, again, with the whole stacking of all these different things. So now that you know what I'm doing, I will update you in a couple of days with where I'm at. Looking forward to it, but also a little bit nervous because I'm not really sure how I'm gonna go. I have a very busy lifestyle. I try and fit a lot of different things in, and I think the first week is gonna be the hardest because I'm adding so many more things into it, taking some things away that I definitely rely on as a bit of a crutch. So either way, you guys get to see if I succeed or fail. So thanks for joining me on this journey, and I look forward to you enjoying laughing at me. So yeah, that's it. They're my 7 things, and I'll keep you updated in the next few days. All right, this is day 7. Week 1 is complete. I was gonna do kind of daily updates or updates every few days. Can you stop sneezing? I'm trying to shoot a video. Honestly, my dog. But yeah, my schedule ended up being so crazy that it's really hard to kind of film through the week. I would have liked to show you some shots of me struggling hard on day 2 and 3 of no caffeine, but instead I'll just tell you how it went and what it was like, and I'll give you some other B-roll instead. So firstly, in hindsight, doing all 7 of these is kind of stupid. It's a lot, I'm doing a lot of different things, and for some reason, naive me 7 days ago thought this was gonna be a super easy challenge and I just smashed it out of the park. But the hardest thing this week has been no caffeine. So look, I've been on caffeine for years and years, and every January I kind of take like 10-20 days off, try and do the full month, but it just gets to day 20 and I'm like, I've been good. I can just drink coffee again. Yeah, that's definitely been the hardest one. I had pretty consistent headaches for the full 7 days. They're starting to ease up now. Luckily they weren't too intense, but it's kind of morning and evening before I'm going to bed is when I definitely have headaches. My body's definitely recognizing I'm not giving it caffeine. But look, I am drinking green tea. I think there's only about 20 milligrams of caffeine in that, so I haven't gone completely caffeine free, but it's definitely not a hit like coffee, that's for sure. But it is a nice warm drink. It's coming into winter now. It is a nice little warm drink to kind of get me kind of into the day, but it has not been doing the same job as coffee, that's for sure. So I thought that this was actually going to be a really good time to do this whole challenge because of what's going on in the world right now. And in some aspects it is, like the alcohol, and I'll get to that. But in other aspects, it's been really hard because I'm actually really busy at work and my schedule is quite crazy. So also fitting in that meditation. But yeah, the caffeine has been the hardest thing this week. Looking forward to next week to see if it kind of eases up a little bit, if it gets a little bit easier. Based on how I feel today, I'm hoping that it does. So looking forward to that one because I'm sick of these headaches. But that's kind of showing me that maybe it's a good time to kind of quit and put it behind me and see if I can kind of live life without caffeine, So as for exercising every day, I'm actually loving this. Sometimes I only really get, 20 minutes in. Sometimes I get the full hour. But regardless, if it's only a 20-minute session, I make sure to have very high intensity, shut up the room that I'm working in and just sweat it out, jump on the bike, do some ab rollers, hitting all my different muscle groups just with the stuff that I have here, resistance bands and stuff like that. And I had a pretty good exercise schedule before this whole thing went down, and it kind of went down the drain when the gyms shut. So this was kind of good to kind of get back into gear and get used to exercising in a different environment, because it's kind of that gym environment that triggered me to want to do hard exercise. But now I'm kind of used to doing it at home and outside whenever I can when the sun's out, which it's not today. I was going to take you guys outside, but it's not very nice out there. So yeah, exercising every day. I think that's also mitigating the caffeine, you know, maybe helping me kind of sweat it out a little bit more. So all of that caffeine is out of my system. Doing 10, 20 Ks on an exercise bike, you know, I'm waking up pretty sore every day, but my body's kind of starting to get used to that. So looking forward to continuing this one as well. So low dopamine. Now, I kind of knew this, but this one has definitely been the hardest. Listening to audiobooks and podcasts whenever I'm in the car, you know, driving to work, driving to and from shoot locations.
Your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your headache, all the rich world of your conscious experiences, that is not visible in the headset. So my conscious experience is both in the headset and outside of the headset. That's right. So it exists outside of space and time. That's right. In fact, this is where the shit starts to get real weird. It's pretty interesting because all I can see of you are the experiences in my own headset.
Whenever I'm in the gym, it's only when I'm hanging out with friends and they have music on that I'm not going to count that, because I'm not kind of actively doing it. Definitely minimizing all of my scrolling. I don't have Instagram on my phone unless I'm posting something. And you know, it's funny because as soon as I post something, then you find yourself on the homepage and you start to scroll. And then as soon as I realize, I get out of it and delete the app again. And kind of the same for Reddit. So instead, on my lunch breaks at work, instead of scrolling, I'm listening to a podcast and also writing in my diary. And it's kind of nice, you know, not being bombarded with so many images and dopamine stimulating things every second. You know, every chance you get, you pick up your phone. It's just not actually available for you to even do it. So kind of enjoying that. You know, I was pretty good with the whole no scrolling thing before this anyway, but this is kind of still putting it into perspective. I was doing it more often than I potentially needed to, you know? So yeah, it's kind of nice, you know, not really getting sucked into the black hole of social media and mindless scrolling. So that's going pretty good. But the thing that is really killing me is music. You know, there are days where, you know, especially this week, like I've woken up, haven't really been in a very focused mood when I wake up. So I jump in the car and I don't want to be actively listening to like an audiobook. So in that instance, I just chuck on a podcast, because you can kind of zone in and out and it doesn't really matter as much. You're not really focused on the information. It's much more of a casual conversation, so it doesn't take as much brain power to focus. But you know, on like 40-minute drives and that kind of thing, it gets to the 20-30 minute mark and I just want to yell at Siri and say, put some music on, but instead I just have to unplug the aux if I just want to drive without actually thinking, and then I'm just kind of driving in silence. This is what it feels like driving with no music. And it's a little boring because I really love my music, but it's being taken away from me because for some reason I'm doing this challenge. So that's been the hardest thing so far. So the diary, I'm actually really loving this. As I said, I do this on my lunch break now. So it's pretty much integrated into my schedule already. And so basically, you know, I only kind of write one page. If I'm feeling like I have more to kind of throw up onto the page, then I'll write a little bit more. But generally just kind of keeping it one page. And I'm already kind of noticing that, you know, all the thoughts that you have on a day-to-day basis, instead of just keeping them inside your head and they kind of fester and turn into something bigger than they need to be, just all of the thoughts that you've had for the last kind of 24 hours, you just kind of throw up, put it on a page, write it down, not even think about it, and you can kind of see some of the thoughts that you've been thinking about in the last 24 hours. So this one's actually been easy, especially because, you know, I'm not spending my lunchtimes scrolling, so I've got the time to kind of be doing this. And yeah, looking forward to seeing more results from the diary, because I think it's going to be a pretty useful mindfulness tool. So onto one meal a day. Now this one's actually pretty easy. The hardest part about this is that because I'm not drinking caffeine, which kind of stunts your appetite a little bit, I'm getting hungrier earlier and have to kind of put that off. So just drink as much water as I can to try and stunt that appetite, which doesn't really work. But yeah, I'm really loving the 1 meal a day thing. As I said, you know, I'm doing it within kind of 3 or 4 hours because I have all those calories in one go, which I actually did one day this week. You have a noticeable 1 to 2 hour kind of real foggy period where your body's just kind of processing that food. And, you know, being paid to work and all, I can't really be just falling asleep at my desk because I respect my employer. And I almost felt like I was going to fall asleep at my desk. So really vibing on the 1 meal a day thing. It's also, you know, frees up a lot of time. So I'm not kind of eating before or after work. So I have more time to kind of, you know, do more things, and I don't have to sit down and eat every 3-4 hours or whatever, you know? So I'm really liking that. And the other thing is I'm much more focused in the morning. You know, I don't have food in my stomach, so my body's not processing it. So I'm not kind of trying to do that. I'm just much more focused until I actually eat my food. So liking that. So the no alcohol thing has definitely been the easiest. You know, it's been a week so far, and, you know, due to not really anything being open, there's not many crazy kind of social events that have gone on in the last week that have allowed, you know, alcohol to be present. So that one's kind of been the easiest for now, though I'm sure it might be a little more difficult in the next few weeks. I'll let you know. And finally, meditation. Now, this one has definitely been really good. Having that 30 minutes a day to just kind of wind down and, you know, focus on everything that you're doing and your life and kind of what's happening. I'm really, really enjoying that process. I still have, you know, my mind just wants to get up and go and do other things, but I generally just do it just before I go to bed. So there's not really anything else to do, and I'm kind of winding down just before I go to sleep. The other thing is, I think this is really helping with the whole caffeine thing as well. Just kind of giving me some clarity and some mental energy. So I'm not just kind of searching for it in a caffeine hit, which I definitely still am. Anyway, I won't ramble on too much because this is just the first week. It has been very hard ultimately, but I'm starting to see some of these benefits, and I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks to see kind of what can come out of this experiment. Definitely didn't know what I was in for, really. Hopefully it gets a little bit easier as I get into this routine. You know, I'm definitely creating more and being more productive already. I can see that, which is good. But yeah, I'll check in with you guys next week.